Thanks for watching News Echoes. Today we give you news and analysis concerning Nigeria. It's few days to the Nigerian election, presidential election. February 25 is the day. The whole world is watching, and we are here to give you the latest concerning that election. So many preparations going on, so many things happening. Parties now fight themselves. So we want to look at how the parties are doing and why the APC have decided to fight one another, the PDP fighting one another. And we want to see what is going on in Labour Party and how the cash crunch is affecting election. Don't go away. This is the place to be. I have in the studio with me, all the way from Lagos, the commercial city of Nigeria, Bidi Nana. Bidi, you're welcome to the program.
Good morning, Dr. Shegu. Thanks for having me here once again. Good morning, our viewers all over the world. Thank you for joining us again today.
It's going to be great today because we're going to look at so many issues. And in faraway Milan, we have our man, Mark. Mark in Milan, good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Shegu. Good morning, BD. It's good to see you guys again as we do the countdown to February 25th.
Yes, it's going to be a great day that day when the most populous country in Africa will decide. And one of the first 10 most populous in democracy, we have been told. So it's going to, all eyes are on Nigeria. Let's talk about the All Progressive Congress. We see that there is a crack in the family. The APC appears to be having problems. The presidential candidates, those ones very close to Tinubu, they appear to be fighting a cabal within the presidency. They believe the presidency has put up so many obstacles on their way, like the currency change, like some utterances, and that they believe that they might even be supporting the PDP presidential candidate. How far that is true, we don't know, but we want to flag it up because even the presidential candidate of APC told the rest of the world, no matter what they do and change the currency from yellow to blue, they will still win. Do you think, Bidi, you are in Nigeria, do you think this is showing up in the number of people following APC, or you think this crack is just something on the social media?
It's not something on the social media. It's the reality that is playing out in APC, or Progressive Congress, the ruling party. It's been tough within, and this has been going on for a long time before they decided to make it open. They've tried to manage it, but it's not been easy. Now, the flag bearer of APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, accused the president and the presidency that they are against him, that they are working against him. First, he said that they are working for Atiku Abubakar, and it looks like that was not selling. I said that they are working against him, that most of the policies they are making is towards his presidential ambition. You understand? And to portray that down very well, lately, the governor of Kaduna State, El-Rufai, and the governor of Kogi State have sued the federal government for the currency change, because Bola Ahmed Tinubu earlier said that the currency was changed to stop him from winning. And these two governors and the others they are trying to recruit to join them have sued the presidency for changing the currency. Now, the question a lot of Nigerians are asking, Nigerian youth were at home for 10 good months. These governors do not sue the presidency. They killed a lot of Nigerian youths at Lekki toll gate. They did not sue the presidency. Now the currency, and they are suing the presidency. Now, what is it is in it that they are not telling Nigerians? It's not about the Nigerians, it's about their selfish interests.
Okay, let me ask you, with these intra-party squabblings, do you think it has affected the thinking of the Nigerian youth, especially in Lagos where you live?
Not just only in Lagos, Nigeria generally. If you look at the disruptor party, I call them disruptor. They actually came, Labour Party. They came and disrupt the way politics has been played in Nigeria. As day goes, many people are joining them, and it's because of what is happening in APC. Do you understand? This thing that is happening in APC has made APC, they are losing members, they are losing supporters, they are losing believers day by day. It has actually affected them in Nigeria generally, not just in Lagos State.
All right, thank you. I'll come back to you. Maki Milan, let me use this opportunity to welcome Dr. Godwin Ibe, all the way from Moscow, Russia. Dr. Ibe, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Mark in Milan. President Buhari said, don't be deceived. I'm supporting Tinubu. El Rufai said, it's not fair. The South has given the North this presidency for 8 years. We should support the South. With these ones, how could it be then that APC is having this internal squabbling?
Yes, it's very strange. But I think what is happening to a lot of them is their conscience is pricking them. So during the week, El Rufai, the governor of Kaduna State, slammed Buhari's administration. But one of the major parts he's looking into is that monetary policy, this change of currency. So it's been a hidden thing actually for some time, but I think they couldn't put it on the down low for too long. So it has sprung up. Last time, one praised Mustafa Audu, the spokesman for the All Progressive Party. He said a lot of things the president is doing. He's doing it he's doing the right moves, but he's doing it at the wrong time. That was the Prince Audu Mustafa, spokesman for APC. So we are seeing a lot of squabbles going on, infighting, and I think the major reason is because conscience is playing out. That's how I see it. Their conscience, Buhari's conscience is playing on him very strong this time.
Okay. All right. Dr. Ibe from Moscow, we're looking at the APC internal wranglings. What do you think has led to this, or is it just a superficial one? At the end of the day, they will close up ranks and APC may win. What do you think?
Well, I think it's superficial in the sense that the president would rather want his party to win than another party. That is clear. And then secondly, at the same time, he may not have very high enthusiasm for the current principal of the APC. And I'm just speaking of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He may not be so enthusiastic about his candidacy, but at the same time, he understands that it's better for him and for his allies and friends who he has cultivated and built over these years if APC wins. Because within his camp, he still has strong supporters. So that's why it's superficial in one way. But on the other hand, yes, he also wants to leave a legacy, I believe, at least from the hints and the evidence we've seen around from the CBN policy, new Naira note policy, and the reluctance to be earlier in some campaigns and the rest, or to make some clear-cut statements. It's clear that, yeah, he wants to leave a legacy, knowing that, yeah, once he leaves office, that's it. It will only be his legacy that we'll be talking about. So, yeah, it's a balance of interests. It's not that he wants to support another party. It's just a balance of interest.
All right. We'll just have to move on. Thank you very much. We'll bear that in mind as we discuss the other party that has been called the Siamese twin of APC, the PDP. many people believe that APC and PDP, they have moved into one another, that you can just imagine them like a Siamese twins with a multi-headed organization. And the PDP is having its own problem. The G5, you remember them, Wike, Autumn, and the rest, and they call themselves Integrity Group. Many of their followers will not call them Integrity, but they appear to be fighting their own presidential candidate, just like we saw in APC. And Wike was so happy and said it openly when the PDP canceled his rally in the River State. What will you say concerning PDP? Are they making headway, or does Atiku know something we don't know, that it is going to win anyway?
PDP problem started ab initio. They even before, PDP was one of the party who could not start their campaign when other parties were starting their campaign because of their internal rift. Then they now have the G50, and where that G50 is pulling power in Nigeria today. But lately, some of the G50 has been falling apart. G5, sorry, they've been falling apart. So the major problem in PDP is coming together to agree. Ayu, Wike, and Atiku problem has been the major thing that is tearing PDP apart. And because of this problem, they've not been able to stand strong and make a concrete decision as a party. They've not worked as a party. So it's a very big problem within them. Now, a lot of Nigerians were like, if you ask a very Nigerian, and they'll tell you that Labour is preferred party for Nigerians, not because of the party, but because of the individual. Do you understand? But they're telling you that, you talk about the presidency and the APC and the PDP, they'll tell you that the presidency actually prefer PDP candidates. That's
okay. I'm going to ask you this question like I asked on APC. Do you think that the PDP as a party has lost some of its members to the Labour Party because of the internal rift?
They've lost a lot of their members and still losing. They've lost a lot. And they still have what I call ghost member. We have a lot of PDP members who are PDP in body, in flesh, body, in spirit. They are no longer PDP. Some of them are APC, some of them are Labour Party.
Okay. All right. Thanks so much. Maki Milan, PDP, why are our parties falling apart? Is it because that the political parties have not been following the functions of a normal party as we know it in the West? The political parties in the West are supposed to think of ideology, work in ideology, set up manifestos, train its members, educate its supporters, give them a vision and follow the vision to the very end of development of the nation. That's what a political party does. But the PDP appears to have fallen apart like we saw in APC. So, Mark, what do you think is going on in a PDP now? You need to unmute yourself.
The PDP is displaying some form of mockery politics. I said that because we've known PDP to be also on the losing end when it comes to this new concept of Nigeria, and them acting the way they are acting makes it more funny. Really like a comedy play going out. So we are seeing the fight between the infighting in PDP, the so-called G5. I don't know how you have a set of people inside a party, and like you said, all of this is still funny because none of this party has ideology. None of them have a concept, no goal, no
ideology, no
yes,
goal,
yeah.
no manifesto, no training and
Manifesto.
training of members, no
It's
education of the mass. Okay, go on.
Good. You've said it, Doc. So it's just people, men that have power, some form of power, and they are just gallivanting and, making a show of that power they have instead of using it to better the life of their citizens. So
Okay.
PDP is doing its own. We saw what happened with the aggrieved five. The G5, I call it aggrieved five. You know, they are aggrieved governors.
But they call themselves G5 Integrity
Yes,
Group.
aggrieved five governors. But they've been consistent in their demand that Iyorchia Ayu, the PDP chairman, national chairman, should step down. They've been saying that continuously. And they
Yes, the
also,
reason, for the sake of our viewers, the reason is that they don't believe that the presidential candidate and the chairman of the party should come from the north, just for the
yes,
sake of our viewers.
yes. So, but we're still waiting on the head of the G5, as he calls himself, and he has not really declared whose side they are in, but somehow we're seeing them again aligning to APC. So,
Yeah,
very
that's the
funny.
question. That's the question I was about to ask Dr. Ibe. Dr. Ibe, it appears that the G5 are leaning towards APC. Wike actually said in the last few days that Tinubu will be the next president. Do you think Labour has lost out because of the G5?
No. I think that in any case, they were not going to get the G5. G5 will either be APC or PDP. But if you ask me, they will still vote APC. They're just using PDP as a bargaining chip. You have to understand that pending supporters like Wike that have strong followership that transcends party, most of them have structures in the APC. And obviously, both legacy structures, allies in the APC camp. I mean, in the PDP camp, rather. And if they move to APC, they will just be like, trying to crawl their way back to
extended family.
Extended family, do I say unwanted? I don't even say unwanted or half wanted, half wanted competitors. So they have to crawl their way to the top, and they are very, very aware of that. So they are just using APC as bargaining chip. And they want the right thing to be done according to them. They want the right thing to be done in PDP, and eventually, if it's done in PDP, they will be all happy to be in PDP. So nothing is changing. The Labour Party will never have.
Some may disagree with you. The Nigerian youth of these days, they appear to think towards Labour Party, irrespective of what their governors are thinking. This G5 has to be very careful because the youth are not accepting what the politics they are playing. Do you agree with that?
Yes, well, you didn't ask me about the youth. You asked me about the governor. The youth obviously are tending towards Labour Party. That is clear. That is absolutely clear. But the point is that the youths on social media are not enough are not all reflected in the PVC, as we've seen the distribution of PVC and the structure in the parties. Unless these youths, which are so many, including the ones that are so many unemployed, if they can be reflected in the PVC and exercise their voting right as they turn out, they believe in the electoral system, they turn up on the day of the election, and they exercise their right. That's only when you can see a major shift, political landscape.
Oh, thank you very much. BD in Lagos, the youths, let's quickly talk about the youths. Do you think all the wranglings in APC and PDP have made the youth to now come out and say, we're not going with the old order, we want the new order? And we want to talk analytically. We don't want to say things that we think. We want to say things that are on the ground. The youths in Lagos, where you live, do you think they can outshine the Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State, the Tinubu of Lagos State, and all those Joe Igbokwe of Lagos State? Do you think the youths in Lagos have bypassed their old politics? Unmute yourself.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Am I okay?
Yeah, you're okay now.
Yeah. It's okay. When you talk about youth in Lagos State, we have two types of youth in Lagos State. We have the youths, as in, the freedom youths, the youths who are free-spirited, and we have the youth, the enclave youth, the enclosed youth, the youth that has been shrinked. What do I mean by this youth that have been shrink? Many of these youth I describe as youth that has been shrink are the charlatans, are the touts, are the what we call the abros. They are youth too. So those are the youth that are in the hands of politicians. Do you understand? Those kind of youth, you cannot take them away from the old type of politics. They will be with them anytime, any day, because of what they stand to get. These are the kind of youths that are easily to be brainwashed. They will tell them that you need to keep us in office because of you. If we go out of office, you will not feed, you will not eat. These things you're doing, these your challenge jobs, they will take it away from you. So this kind of youth I call enclave, shrink youth, they have brainwashed them. They have programmed them to believe that where they are is the best for them. They don't aim high. Then the other
But
part of
don't you think the new youth, as you have explained to us, the new youth should protect their balloting? That is, instead of allowing anybody to create any hoodlum attitude on the day of election, shouldn't the new youth say, "Hey, we're not fighting, and nobody should fight"? Do you think they can overpower the new youth?
Exactly. That's new youth I'm telling you about, the freedom youth, the free-spirited youth are the ones who want the change. Those are the people who you cannot control. You have not programmed them. Those are the people who want the change. They are ready to protect their ballots, their mandates. They are ready to do it. But one thing you should understand, those youth, those new youth have something to live for. They have ambition, they have aspiration. Do you understand? So those are the kind of youth you say you fight and run away so that you can fight another day. But the other enclosed or shrink youth, they don't have anything they are living for. They are ready to die. Do you understand? They are not, yeah,
So
they
when
are
they
ready to.
brandish their knives and their machetes, they have the field day, and that's it. And then they
Exactly. They
carry
can
the
kill.
boxes or destroy whatever.
Ex- You saw what happened 2 days ago. They can kill, they can destroy. They don't have anything they are living for. So they are ready to die.
Yeah, Mark, for those who are wondering what happened 2 days ago when Obi came to Lagos, people were wearing Labour Party shirts, and they were badly beaten at Ajar and all the rest. And so these new youths have not got the sense of fighting back, or they have not been, they have something to live for, yearnings, aspirations, as BD was saying. So they may still destroy the essence of politics come February 25, and the government may just say, that's it, we cancel the results, whatever. Is that, you think that scenario may occur? Unmute yourself, Mark.
I don't think so. Sorry for that. Take note that yes, the youth play a very integral part in this whole new democracy in Nigeria, but there are more. I beg to disagree also with BD. There are more youths that are positive-minded, that are going about it the right way, and they have an influence. They have a very strong influence.
Can they face physical violence? That's the
No,
question.
but I mean, why do we want to bring in violence into?
Yes, as the old youth is not as the people,
Yes,
the
Politics.
political youth.
because this is what we're trying to avoid this time. We can't be having politics and violence, thuggery, and all this. We want to stop this. So these new youths have something that is more stronger than the violence, and that's their know-how. They are being tech savvy. They are also being very, 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 very determined.
Mobile phone cannot stop machete, Mark. Mobile phone cannot stop machete.
Yes, mobile phone cannot stop machete, but we are coming to a time. Take note that law enforcers are going to be on ground, and in fact, everywhere they bring out this machete in this thuggery, there is always a reinforcement from forces.
Okay, let's ask Ibe. Yeah, okay, quickly say it before Dr. Ibe. Go on.
There's no point trying to paint this thing. There is no point trying to be diplomatic about this. The macheting, I'm talking based from Lagos, the macheting system of politicking in Lagos State has come to stay. Lately, it has extended to far north. See, What happened on Saturday when Obi visited Lagos is what we've been experiencing in Lagos. This is just a tip of what is going to happen come 25th of February. If people don't stand up and do something about it, we've had experience when on voting day, they will come with their machete, they will come with their gun, they stand around pulling units, and they'll show you if you don't vote their party, they will gun you down. We've seen where they beat people and watch you vote who they want you to vote for. It's happened in Lagos. It's not a new thing.
But take note. Sorry. So yes, it happened.
Let me finish. I want to talk. Now, what I want us to understand.
I want to help you. I want to help you so that we don't.
Please, can I finish, please?
Okay.
See, if we want to make a change, that's what I have been saying. You join them and rescue this from them, then you cannot change it to what you want. Now, these people are macheting. And me, I have a dream, like other revolutionary youth who want to change things. They are not ready to fight. We need to match. They need to match these other youths to get what they want. Then they cannot change it into what they want. I'm telling you, if not, before your very eye, they will change the narrative that the youth are already changing.
BD, let me help you. The federal government last week, President Buhari marshaled out quite a good number of security that will be going all the nook and corners of Nigeria for this election. And they are well equipped, they are ready. Take note also that the man wants to leave a legacy, the president Buhari. So if this doesn't go right, it will be to his own damn, it will be to his own shame. So he wants to leave a legacy, and he's doing all he can to leave that legacy. So he's bringing out all the security measures for that day. No, none of those kind of things that happened will happen this time. I promise you that.
Dr. Ibe, what side of the argument are you? What divide?
Yeah, I agree with both of them. At the same time, disagree with both of them. So let's start with Buhari. Buhari wants to leave a legacy not because he will be damned. If APC wins, nothing will happen. His businesses, people, interests will all be well protected because it's one party. But it will only occur if a different party wins. Then the other party will try to make a scapegoat, try to turn back just to prove a point. That's number one. Number two, about tech savviness, yeah, all these are good, but like they usually say, it's important to vote, but what is more important is who counts the vote. It's important to enact security, but what is more important is who gives the security order. Are the security unbiased? Will the security turn a blind eye to when one party does something, or will they be neutral? It's not for you and me to say here. It's what we will see on the ground that we'll know. And then number three is that if the failure or success of the election is Nigerians who will pay for it, not the rich. Even in coronavirus, the billionaires, they made more billions and trillions. Every time, no matter how the economy goes about, no matter how you reshuffle it, it's the poor that will suffer the most. And they have been suffering.
Quick question before we go on break, Dr. Ibe. Quick question before: who benefits from a national violence if there should be violence for whatever reason by the youth?
The poorest, they have suffered, they are suffering, and they will continue to suffer more if things are not, if equal opportunities are not given to them. Because anyhow, we reshuffle the economy.
Will you support quelling of riots and violence and allowing the president, President Buhari especially, to step aside and allow an interim government in case of a serious violence?
I think it's too early to talk about interim government hypothetically, but I would say that all parties should be proactive in terms of having election observers and even, communicating, having direct communication with the security, or even having their own, primitive form of security, maybe not with guns, but some kind of their own security to be like an ad hoc to the already established. They shouldn't trust verbatim the security, this federal security system, because the federal government has a party.
I still have one more question for you. Which one should Nigerians go for? Peace in the absence of fair and free election, of violence in case of rigged election? Which one should they just go for so that they know their options?
I would prefer peace, but if war comes to your doorstep, you have to fight.
Okay, you would prefer peace. We go on the shop, but when we return, we want to see whether the Supreme Court has won in extension of exchange of Naira or the presidency. Don't go away. It's a test of separation of powers. We'll be right back.
Schengen Story magazine is an African international bi-monthly magazine based in Milan, Italy, and founded in 2016. The publication focuses on personalities, fashion, style, entrepreneurship, and culture for Africans. Though articles on food, movies, fitness, music, travel, sports, technology, and books are also featured. Our lives full of best stories. A lot can happen in a month. Expand your mind, change your world. Get Schengen Story magazine's full editions. Celebrating Africans make an impact. Read better, the inside story. Your fashion magazine for a better lifestyle. Inspiring stories for you. Your monthly dose of entertainment.
Thanks for staying with us. It's still News Echoes discussing Nigerian affairs, especially the presidential election coming up next week, just next week. Everyone will recall that the central bank changed the color of the Nigerian Naira currency, and many people have suffered, and people have discussed it. Governors have taken the central bank and the presidency to court, and it appears that they are winning. The Supreme Court said the CBN must not continue with that policy until the substantive decision is made by the court, and that February 10 deadline was not supposed to be observed. That is, you can still spend the old legal tender as opposed to the new legal tender. We want to ask from BD in Lagos. We want to know whether who won was the Naira swap and legal tender of the old Naira. Was it continuous up till today, or the CBN won and nobody is accepting the old Naira? Just tell us, for those of us who don't live in Nigeria.
Well, the CBN has insist that February 10 is the deadline, the last day, and it's ongoing. And I tell you, most Nigerians are okay with that. Most people, yes, they've stopped accepting the old Naira, but they find a way to be giving. People are getting the new Naira notes now, but not much. But it's better to compare to what it was 2 weeks ago. It's getting better. And let me tell you, most people.
Sorry. When you say it's getting better, so if you want to change your 10,000 Naira, you will be given old Naira, you'll be given 10,000 new Naira without paying extra 22,000 Naira or something on top.
No, it's if you go to bank, you can if you will be able to wait because the queue in the ATM machine now is something else. If you can wait in ATM machine, you can get. But when
Okay.
you go to POS, that is when you now buy what we call buying Naira in black markets. That is when you now pay extra money to buy. And remember, when you pay those extra money to the POS, it will not stop bank from charging you for that money you withdraw. So it's like you're paying double money to get your money. That's why we are calling it black markets now.
Okay, so
In Nigeria.
the bank will charge you for withdrawing that money, something like 50 something naira, or
Exactly.
depending, and
And
then
maybe
the
if you're taking
POS man will still charge you 20%.
exactly, but the 20% now has reduced, and let's say the CBN has given or that has vowed,
Hmm.
do you understand, to go
Yeah.
after any POS member who is charging much. And my question is this: it's not just making order in Nigeria, it's not just making policies in Nigeria, it's about implementing it.
Hmm.
So now you're vowing to go after the POS. The people you should vow to go after should be first the bank managers, the bankers, because now you're telling a POS member not to charge much. When the POS member goes to the bank to get that money, he pays to get it. They don't get it free. I must be frank, fairness to them. They pay to all these bank managers or bank staff. They pay some certain amount for them to give them some certain amount. Now you're saying that you're going to go after them. If you really want to go after someone, it should start from the bank manager and the bankers who are making it impossible for people to access this fund, because this
Hmm.
fund is in the banks, but the banks with their own interests, which I don't know, they've made it impossible for Nigerians to access this fund.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Let me ask Dr. Ibe in Moscow. Um, the essence of the modern democracy is to have separation of powers, the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature. And on this occasion, there was an executive order, according to the constitution, that the CBN could change its money and it changed the Naira currency. But they were taken to the Supreme Court, the highest court in the land, which is the form of check and balance in a separation of powers. And the Supreme Court said you must continue as in the old order until February 15, which is today. But the CBN and the presidency came out to say blatant nonsense, arrant nonsense. We will stick with our decision February 10. Do you think our understanding of separation of power and and balance has been altered with this decision?
Well, this is not the first time we've seen a violation of separation of powers. It's like almost an everyday thing, especially with the people who have been detained, asked to be released, and they were not released at the time they were asked to be released, or even judges being arrested. And we've seen, I think we'll just run out. The list will be just keep on going on if we begin to list all the violations of separation of powers. But that now to the case of this old Naira note, I believe that in this case, the Supreme Court order should have stood. The Supreme Court order should have stood, and it should be 15th, as was said by Supreme Court. If everything goes according to plan. But in any case, the judiciary shouldn't even have put itself in the first place in this case, if you ask me, because there should be that independence of the CBN and the executive. But for the CBN also requiring the executive permission for printing the notes, then it shows that, well, if the CBN is not independent of the executive, why should it then be independent of the judiciary? So you see, there are lots of questions to ask. Why should the executive be more closer to the CBN than the judiciary? So definitely we should go with the Supreme Court, but yeah, it's a history of non-separation of powers. Now, concerning the effect of the Naira on the people, like I said, anyhow you do it, the poor people will suffer unless the poor people are wise enough to support policies that guarantee their long-term stability and give them equal opportunity. Now, the CBN promising to sanction POS operators is it's just a little about nothing. It's nothing. What you need to do basically is to have, first of all, you make, if I were asked, I would say allow people to send videos of queues, or allow people to send videos, to take in their phones into the bank and make videos if they are rejected or not. And then a case should be opened. Not like you make one in Kano and then it will be on the news. No, let every bank manager know that a bank manager near you was just arrested, maybe 2 streets away, 3 streets away. They know that the policy team is not only in the north or in the east, the policy team is everywhere. Yes? And then even if you charge Nigerians 1%, to pay the staff of all those security agencies that be going around from state, 1% of all withdrawals till the 15th will be paid for security agencies to ensure that no bank manager keeps them on the queue for 3. Nigerians will readily give that 1% and pay 20% on POS. So implementing it is actually as easy as ABC. You need to get the right staff, make sure that everybody feels that you're serious, not just say CBN, but give a exact description of the punishment. What is the exact punishment? For example, sanctioning the branch for not working for 60 days, fining the bank a percentage of their income in that month. Meet out the exact punishment, or prison terms if you're going to go through judiciary for not using the allocation by the CBN. Exact description of the punishment, and then hire the enough staff so that people can feel that near you they are working. That's all.
Thanks, Dr. Ebe. Mark in Milan, who has benefited from this? Is it the point of sales operators we normally call POS, or the bankers who the politicians will have seen behind and collected their own, or the politicians whom Buhari thought he was trying to outdo, and now they have outdone him? Their bullion vans have gone middle of the night and collected the money, because many politicians now spend the new Naira anyway. So who has benefited from it all?
The bankers, obviously. The bankers were hoarding the money, selling to the politicians. I think it's just between the bankers and the politicians.
So who lost that? Who lost that most?
The ordinary man.
Wow.
Sadly, we don't even have the middle class again in Nigeria. Somehow, this administration wiped them out. So, in fact, let's not even say half of the population. I mean, virtually most Nigerians suffered in this, but a small number of people gained in this. And it's a sad thing. Somehow, also take note that they still see it as a witch hunt. Somebody said it's a very good idea, but it came at the wrong time, like we said the other time. And the other day also, an organization called NEF. NEF is the Northern Elders Forum. Yes, Hakeem Baba Ahmed. He was on the TV. I was listening to him, and he said the president should not have allowed this kind of fiasco to come into play in the last days of his administration. He was saying a lot of things that this money thing is a major demarketing thing for APC. That it was targeted to demarket APC. So the NEF man was saying that the whole thing didn't play out well, even though it was a good idea. And now, but somehow what he doesn't know is APC still gained out of this, because like we know, probably some APC strongmen had the money even before the masses had it. I mean, that's how it goes in our country.
All right. Let's just leave this matter here. We now want to look into.
Sorry. Can I just add something very quickly? You know, okay. when they usually say follow the money, you have to understand policies. But then how do you follow the money? Where are the rich people? You follow the solution, the offered solution. You see this POS that is offered as a solution. Now look at who owns the POS. The people operating, who has all the POS. Any solution, you will find the rich people there. Anything they offer you as a solution for your problem, they will be controlling that solution. So that's why I suggested, if you had used this security, if the security method was used, yeah, well, the Nigerians know what they are paying, but then they only get more if they work well. There's no other chance to get more, no 20%. Then they will work.
It's just like the collaboration between the Aboki on foreign exchange and the banks.
Yeah,
the banks will tell you go and get it from Aboki, and yet you have been paid dollars from the US, dollars from Europe, and it's supposed to be your domiciliary account. They tell you there is no dollar to pay you in Nigeria, and they say go and then you say, okay, give me Naira. Then they say go and collect your Naira from Aboki, so that there is a collaboration between the bankers and Aboki, collaboration between the POS operators and the banks, and they are smiling while the masses are suffering. But we just have to move on. We want to make it open for Nigerians to know what is going on. That's the essence of our program, so that they can make an informed decision and take a quality decision in voting. Bidi, the question comes to you. It's coming to you. It's 9 days to the presidential election. Somebody must have been voted in by the 26th of February. We will not know, maybe until 27 or 28, but somebody must have been voted in. Who do you think that person will be? Or shall we say which party? APC, MPP, PDP, SDP, LP, or AAC, or any of the 18 candidates? Let's start looking into crystal ball if we have anyone. What do you say, BD? Who do you think will have won at the end of that 25th February election?
Dr. Shegu, if you ask me this question, I wouldn't want to be direct.
Go indirect way and answer.
Going by Nigerian situation now and what is happening in Nigeria, if you would agree with me, politics in Nigeria has really changed. The narrative has changed. It's no longer how it used to be in the past. It's changed. If you ask me if I'm going by the wish of the people, how Nigerians want change, how Nigerians are eager to take back their country, I will tell you Labour Party will emerge. But this is Nigeria.
Bidi, I know it's a tricky question. I know it's a tricky question, but I really want you to look on the ground. How many people came out for APC in Gombe and Yobe and in Lagos? How many people came out for Labour Party in Lagos? This is a very tricky question, but we analysts must be able to fight it head on.
Now,
so continue.
You don't go by those crowd. I don't get deceived by those crowd, because the old politics or old politicians have this culture of buying crowd.
Okay.
Yes, they have this culture of buying crowd. So you can't even quantify it by the number of people that come for their rally. Even the new Labour Party, I'm not quantifying it by the number of people that come out for their rally, because some of them came out for that Labour Party rally because they love the Labour Party man as himself, and they want the change. They are tired of the old order. But so many of them don't even have PVC. I must be frank with you. Do you understand? And the old orders, they are in this habit of buying crowds. So now I'm telling you, if you're going by what Nigerians want and how tired Nigerians are and how desperate they want to take over their country, I'll say the candidate of Labour Party might emerge the winner. But this is Nigeria. This is where they will tell you that red is white, and you will be arguing it, and before your very eye, you just realize that actually this red is white. Anything can happen in Nigerian politics.
Okay, thank you. I want to ask you, Maki Milan, what was your answer to the same question? This is where we run down. This is the last sprint of our marathon. We're looking at the end of this program, and so I want us to look into these last 9 days. Who do you think will have won by February 25 election?
Dr. Shago, this is a very tricky question.
you are a pro, so you should be able to face it head on.
Well, the way we are seeing things, I want to go a little aligned with BD. Yes, if you look at the yearnings of Nigerians, the awareness, the desire for change, the hunger for a new kind of leadership, the LP presidential candidates is the choice of a lot of people. It's on the streets, it's on the ordinary people's mouth, it's on the streets of the corners of Nigeria. But the fact remains that we don't know how much of his voters, those that believe in him, how many of them have the voters card. How many of them have the
PDC.
yes, and also the time, that desire to really go out there on 25th and vote. So it's one thing to hype a man, get excited, shout, and make this great noise. It's another thing to go vote. The vote is what counts. That's what matters. And they need the vote. They need the vote. Election is about numbers. Election is about voting. So how much of those crowd has their PVC? Now the old guys and the normal politicians, as we call them, their followers understand these things. They understand the rudiment of democracy, election, and all. They understand it. The old women in the marketplace, the Yaloja and all the village people, because they've been following them for years now. Take note, these are the normal voters. So they understand it. They have their PVC. They know that morning they will go out there, be in the queue. They are used to this. They've been doing this for years. Take their 2,000 Naira bribe, but they feel that it's something for that day, stand on the queue. So they understand it. But these young people, these new voters, new conscious Nigerians, do they understand these things? Do they know that there's much more to democracy than just the hype?
Okay. All right.
What is the hype?
I think I like what you are saying. Democracy and results, they are greater than the hyping and social media. Godwin in Moscow, let me ask you the same question. Godwin in Moscow, having listened to BD and Mark, who do you think will be smiling come 26, 27, 28 when the result is announced? Do you have a crystal ball there? Look into it if you have one.
No, anyone who tells you that the candidate is going to win outrightly, I think the person is not being honestly truthful, because there's a difference between having a wish, a desire, or making positive statements of faith. And when you're saying something like, based on the evidence on the ground, I think that this will happen. There's no evidence right now on the ground showing that a particular party will win. Maybe other than, because what you look at is the PVC distribution. The PVC distribution, the structure in the states. When I mean the structure in the states, I mean the people in different polling units that are there to ginger and to ensure the security for their party, and then the voter turnout, because it's enough you can have PVC and still not turn up for the election. And all evidence doesn't point to a clear-cut victory in the lines of what Massive Mark and BD have said.
Let me ask you a direct question. Let me ask you that. Sorry to cut in. I want to ask you a direct question. Do you think the activities of IPOB and unknown gunmen have diminished the chances of Peter Obi having huge ballots in those Southeast states?
I don't want to focus on one candidate. It's a voter turnout event.
IPOB and unknown gunmen, those are the factors.
Yes, they affect voter turnout. And when they affect voter turnout, they affect all candidates. Now, the BD said that rich people can buy crowds, but cannot, doesn't matter. It matters. If you can buy crowd, you can buy people's vote. Imagine if all the people, let's say 100,000 people were there in the election turnout, and we know the candidates that have money. And you told those people, if we win the election, all of you here, 50,000 Naira, only 50,000 Naira. Don't you know that all those who will become evangelists? They become ordained evangelists. And if they become ordained evangelists, 100,000 people ordained evangelists on one street, you know the people they will convert, you know the souls they will win. So and if you multiply 50,000 naira by 100,000 people, that's just 5 billion. For some people, it's chicken change. Please.
But do you think you evangelize? You want to collect your own tithe and offering from the evangelistic money? What are you talking about?
If someone has 50,000 rubles, you think there's somebody down lower the food chain that will not be fine with 5,000 naira or 10,000? My point is that
I will give BD. You have to reply. You have to reply. Godwin, go on, BD. It's your turn. No.
But Godwin, you're very, very correct. You're very, very correct. This has been happening in Nigeria. It's been a culture, but I'm telling you, the emergence of Peter Obi into the political arena has changed the trajectory. It's no longer what it used to be. I tell you, in Nigeria now, like you said, 100 people, 50,000, those 100 people will come and they'll collect that money. But the people that might do that evangelistic work for you might be 20 or 30, not all of them. Because the Nigerians have this attitude of now going, they will come. That's why you see the people you see in APC rally and most people you see in PDP rally. It's only in Labour Party you can say you have a stable rally members, but most people you see PDP rally, you see them in APC, you see them in NNPP. This is their job. They go from rally to rally, collecting money. I'm telling you. So let me tell you. So what do you want to say?
Okay, Mark, you wanted to say something to you.
Yes, just 15 seconds. Okay, 15 seconds. Look, you know the way things work in Nigeria. You give advance and then you give the rest later. You say 10,000, you go out. When we win 40, you give all your still.
Let me tell you, majority of youth today, they will collect that 30,000, they will leave that 20 for you. Yes, I'm telling you, Nigerian youth have really changed.
We're just sitting here and we can't even determine. We are not even looking at manifestos, people resonating with manifestos. All we are thinking about is evangelism and money making. Come on, Mark, is this how we do it?
But Dr. Godwin, this is how it has been. But believe me, you need to update yourself. It's a new thing happening. Maybe this idea might still be in play in a little minor part of this election, but something new has started, and I believe henceforth Nigeria is on a different path on democracy line. Youths are aware. A lot of these youths have more than 2,000, 10,000 naira in their pocket from their Yahoo and all these things they do. So nobody will come and tell you 2,000 naira, I'll take your vote again, because they have more than that. They are expecting something bigger than that. So
not everybody will agree with you, Mark. Not everybody.
No. I know what I'm saying. I've seen. Take note. Somehow we don't want to say this, but we are also into politics.
Let me say something. Most people will agree with Mike, with Massive Mike. Let me tell you what is happening in obedience culture now. Mm-hmm. When Obi came the other time, Asaba, the little girl that raised him, obedient not Obi, have made her and her mother rich. The little boy that stood in front of Obi, the boy is going back to the school now. He's a millionaire. Do you understand? The girl that lost her phone in Anambra, obedient bought her phone.
Yes,
so it's not,
they are doing that.
The youth today are not ready to sell their conscience because of 10 naira.
Well, I'm just, Bidi, thank you for those information. I'm just looking at the time and I can just say, if you want a mobile phone, if you want your baby to be rich, if you want to go back to school, go closely to obedience, and your life will not remain the same again. Exactly. Evangelism is just the way. I'm learning new things. I'm being taught new things. That's how far we can go today. My thanks to BD in Lagos and Dr. Ibe in Moscow, Mark in Milan in Italy, and of course, to our Italian crew beaming us to 2 television channels in France and Italy. My name is Sheikh Johnson. Until Friday, where we get closer to this presidential election and what the world is saying, we will be back on Friday and next week, Wednesday.